Okay, here's an absolute value inequality that has a fraction inside the absolute value. But that's okay. We can still solve this problem. We know how. We know how to set it up. Doesn't matter what the numbers look like. The process is always the same. So the first thing we need to do is, do you remember? Get the absolute value by itself, which means we need to get that 3 out of there. So we're going to do that by adding 3 to both sides. So that gives me the absolute value, x plus 5 over 3, all of that's inside the absolute value, is greater than 9. Okay, so what did we do when we got the absolute value by itself? We set it up to branch 1 and branch 2. So let's just go ahead and write down branch 1 and branch 2. Okay, before we go any further, let's figure out, is this an and or an or? Well, when I look at this, I have my absolute value is less than a number. Because my absolute value is less than a number. Oh, I just read it wrong. It's greater than, isn't it? Let's try that again. So it's not less than. So my absolute value is great or. Okay? I'm glad I caught myself. This is great or. So that means that this here is a or problem. Okay. Because this side is bigger. It's great or. Okay, so let's set up branch 1. Branch 1 is as is, which is going to be x plus 5 divided by 3 is greater than 9. I'm going to keep that just as is. And now remember, for branch 2, we're going to do the negative of the absolute value. So what's inside the absolute value? So x plus 5 over 3 is greater than 9. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve branch 1. How do I get a 3 out of the denominator? I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, which means I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. This is one number. I'm going to multiply on 3 on this side and 3 on that side. I'm going to multiply by 3 on both sides. So remember, 3 divided by 3 gives me 1. That's why I chose 3. So then that's going to give me x plus 5 is greater than 27. I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides. So that's going to give me x is greater than 22. So that's one answer. So then I'm going to look over on this side. I do not want to distribute that negative into that mess. I might make a mistake. So it's much easier for me to multiply that negative 1 out of there. So remember, that's negative 1. That was in front. That's what the negative sign means. So I'm going to multiply negative 1 to both sides of the inequality, and I have to remember to flip that inequality because I'm multiplying through by negative 1. It's either multiplying or dividing by negative, then the inequality symbol flips. So this here, this negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1, which leaves me with x plus 5 over 3, flip my inequality, negative 9. Now I want to get that 3 out of the denominator. I'm going to do the same thing I did over here. I'm going to multiply it by its reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 3 in the denominator is 3 in the numerator. 9 is already in the numerator, So we're cool there. So remember, this divided out to 1. That's why we divided by 3 on both sides. So I get x plus 5 is less than negative 27. So now I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides. So I'm going to get x is less than negative 32. So let's put that on a number line and see what that would look like. So remember, with the or, it means all answers, not what they share. Or means all answers. So as you can tell, I'm not going to take the time to do every single little mark. I know negative 32 lives down here somewhere. 22 lives up here somewhere. 0 is somewhere in the center. If you want to just arbitrarily put a 0 there, I'm good with that. So let's look at this one. X is greater than 22. Well, here's 22. Notice there's no equal bar there, so this is going to be an open circle. X is greater than 22. Well, here I am at 22. Which way is greater? 21, 20, or 23, 24, 25? Well, this side's greater. So I'm going to go that way. Here I'm at negative 32. Doesn't equal. There's no equal bar there. So I'm going to have an open donut right there. So x is less than. So negative 33 is smaller than negative 32. So that means this must go this way. So I have graphed my problem. And that's my answer.